So anyway, I was just watching Don Lennon and all of his commentators that were on tonight's show bitch and moan about how President Trump pardoned Sheriff Joe Apairo. Not so much that he pardoned that stick-up-his-ass sheriff who was convicted of some kind of corruption charges, but just the fact that it was taken away from the news about Hurricane Harvey, which sounds pretty fucking bad, this hurricane hitting the coast. One of the commentators talking about how bad it is where they're telling people to write their social security number on their arms so they don't know they can get those people. And when they get to them, they don't know they'll be able to identify the bodies. That's how bad it is. But instead of covering the hurricane, they're bitching and moaning about how they're not covering the hurricane because President Trump pardoned Sheriff Joe Apairo. My advice to them is shut the fuck up and talk about the goddamn hurricane. It sounds a hell of a lot more serious than that man-child president pardoning that stick-up-his-ass sheriff. Yeah, that shit happened. I'm not too happy with it, but, I mean, this hurricane sounds just monstrous. And, the more information that people in those areas can get that could be helpful, like, go to this shelter, you need to get the hell out of this area, that would be great. Instead, what do? They're bitching and moaning about Trump. CNN, you're not under any obligation to report everything the president does. You can report other stuff, It's like last year I was doing a video, how pissed off I was that they decided not to show an episode of the 80s because they wanted to talk about some mean thing President Trump had said. And it was just, here we go again. It's like if, President Trump farted in front of Queen Elizabeth, they'd be all over that instead of covering out like an earthquake that may have just leveled San Francisco. And the fact, that they acknowledge is like, maybe he did it right now because he thought the hurricane would distract people. Well, it should distract people. It's a pretty goddamn big hurricane. Like I said, CNN, Trump. And it's just, have some self-independence. I don't know what the hell to call it. Just fucking talk about the fucking hurricane. Fucking babies. So fucking two-faced. I didn't think there was anything that could make me feel lower than President Trump pardoning Sheriff Apairo. Also hearing Steve King talk about it. But no, CNN found a way because they're bitching and moaning and acting like they have no choice but to talk about it when they clearly do, and they've made the wrong choice. Quit bitching and moaning. Talk about the fucking hurricane.